I know I should prospect. Duh. But I'm not doing it. Hey, it's Alex A. Calhoun with Coveted Consultant. I was having a conversation with a lady who is good at sales. I'm talking about someone who has won awards for her ability to sell. I'm talking about someone who has been awarded best in the country for her ability to sell. But now that she's in her own business, running her own agency, the prospecting work, the pipeline work, the selling work is not happening. She's not doing it. What gives? Why is that? But don't stop there though. Take that deeper. Imagine the shame that she feels because she knows she's good at prospecting. She knows she's good at selling. She's gotten awards for it. And now she's looking in her own business and it's not happening the way she thought. Imagine how she feels. Imagine knowing that you're good at something and not being able to reflect that out into the world, not being able to let that gift shine or let that light shine, so to speak. Imagine how frustrating that could be. Is that happening to you? It's a real frustration. So in this situation, we're talking about her specific ability to sell, right? Like she knows she could do it. She's seen the results. She knows she's powerful here, but it's just not coming through. Okay, so let's unpack this. There are a couple of things that really matter here that are very, very practical. Number one is her experience as a salesperson, as a standout, best-in-class salesperson, was when she was an employee for someone else. So when she was an employee for someone else, her employer gave her an entire structure for how to sell. They told her what to sell, how to sell it, who to reach out to, etc. They gave her a framework. So all she had to do was just execute against that framework. She didn't have to invent anything. She could do it. Just wake up every morning, pick up that phone and just do it. So that makes things easier. But now, kind of the next level here, now in her business, she's responsible for not just the mechanical sales part, but she's got to do the actual prospecting to get that opportunity for a conversation. And even when she's on the phone, she's got to think about what problem the client has and how to close the deal, but then also how she's going to deliver on that solution. And if the problem changes, the solution has to change. So now on the call, it's not just, do you want to buy a thing, for example. Now it's, okay, was that what you said? Is that what you need? Can I do that? Do we have support for that? How long is that going to take? It's these massive iterations you end up going through mentally. While you're on the phone, it becomes a much more complex situation to navigate. So imagine the kind of mental sabotage that's now happening in her brain as she reflects on herself as a business owner. I'm a business person. I've been in business all my life. I now run this company. I know I can do it because I've had success in the past, but it's not working, right? I'm not prospecting and I'm not selling. The revenue's not coming like I thought. Am I cut out for this? This entire negative narrative shows up because she's not prospecting. How do you work through that? Well, number one here is we've got to give ourselves some grace. The work that we're talking about is hard. It's not just hard for her, it's hard for me. It's not just hard for me, it's hard for you. This is hard work. So the fact that it feels hard is par for the course. Right? There's no shame, there's no blame, there's nothing wrong with any of us. This is hard work. That's the first thing. The second thing is we need a better plan of action. So before, when you were an employee, when she was an employee, and there was already an existing structure, she could only focus on the part she was asked to focus on. But now when you're in your own company, there's a lot more things to be focused on and you find yourself having split focus. So one of the first things you've got to do for yourself is give yourself a better plan of attack, a better fundamental operating structure. What we do at Coveted Consultant is we recommend 3 core systems: client acquisition, client retention, client service. Right? And install those as fast as you possibly can. It makes things simpler and therefore easier to execute and therefore easier to have excellence, right? So you gotta give yourself a better operating structure. Third really important point here is you've got to give yourself discipline in the execution. So just being good at something in the past won't make you good at it in the future. That's not fair. That's not actually how life works. So you get better at things the more you do them, right? And the consistency of them is what creates the results you're after. So even though this person I'm talking about is good at selling, she's got to give herself the opportunity to get some momentum inside this business. And that can only be done through appropriate discipline. That's a daily effort. Does that effort have to be 4 hours a day? No, it can be simplified. It can be structured appropriately. But it's got to be a discipline though. You've got to do it every day. You've got to accept the challenge of getting better at it every day. And what you'll find is that you get brand new momentum built on the back of that discipline. So in closing here, I realize that inside your business that sometimes things don't work right, and this whole negative narrative can show up because things aren't working. But if you unpack it, it makes things a whole lot easier to push through. And specifically, prospecting is one of those things that causes this major blockage. But there is a way of seeing it through if you allow yourself to have some structure.